There's one arrangement formula that all professional tech house music producers use in their tracks. All the big guys are using this approach. I analyzed Beatport's top 100 tracks in tech house genre, and I realized that successful tracks, they use exactly the same structure. Why? Because it works. It sounds good in the club, it's easy to mix, it's interesting for the listener. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you the club banger formula, the exact approach that pro producers use. So we will analyze one of the trending tech house tracks, look at the elements, the sounds that they are using. We're gonna look at the energy, how it changes throughout the whole track. We're gonna look at the arrangement structure, and by the end of this video, you will learn this formula and you will have a system on how you can arrange pretty much any track in any genre. We're talking about electronic dance music. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Vlad, and I help music producers find their signature sound, produce music that they are proud of, and make money with your music so you can have that dream lifestyle and freedom doing your passion full time. If you want to work with me, if you're liking my tutorials, my style of teaching, I'm opening 5 more spots for my one-on-one coaching program. So I'm pretty booked right now, and this is why these spots are so limited. There's a link down below. If you want to work with me, just fill in the application. If everything is looking good, I will contact you, and we're going to take it from there and start working on your music. And without further talking, let's get started with the video. Okay, so let's talk about the most important thing and the mindset that you need to have when you are making tracks if you want to make the arrangement process easier, faster, more fun, and so on. So there's one pattern that I noticed in successful tracks. They use longer loops or sections. When you start a track, think 16 bars sections. This will help you finish tracks faster and make it easier, right? So I mapped out the intro, minimal drop, break, and so on. So let's go to the project and listen to the track. A lot of you guys probably know this track, so let's have a listen and we will analyze a little bit. All right, so you can see here, it goes like 16 bars sections. So this is the intro, right? I'm not gonna focus on that like a lot on the beginning. And then we transition into the drop, right? So if you analyze the whole track, I'm gonna like skip through the track and show you a little bit. If you go through the track, you can really see that he's using 16 bar sections, right? So the build is the same.
Bitch, can't feel my face, I'm in this bitch. Been up 2 days, now I hit the switch, let's go.
Right, so here, same thing. Again, the main drop is 16 bars, then there's another drop, then there's another break, and everything is like 16 bars. So the number one thing that you need to have, or like, you know, the mindset that you need to adopt is think bigger blocks. And it's like, I've been making music for almost 10 years, and this is probably one of the most important things. Like, don't underestimate it. It is so important to think bigger, right? Because the bigger is, like, the longer is the loop, I can copy this like 2 times and it's going to be like 1 minute 30 seconds. But on the other hand, if you copy like 4 bars, right, 30 seconds is already like looping the same thing 4 times, right? So really quickly, important thing that you need to keep in mind. Number 2, we're not going to go like too deep into the sound design, production, and so on in this video about arrangement, but I want to discuss elements of a good track. So usually for a good track, and good tracks, trust me, they are very simple. A track needs a good low end, a good groove, a vocal, if you're doing vocal music, like tracks and so on, melody, and then maybe some like chords just in case you're using them. But this is like a solid foundation. And before we jump into the analysis, before I walk you through the arrangement here, just listen to the simplicity of this track, right? Just from the intro, it's already like sounding good. And if you can make your groove, your kick bass sound good, this is like 50-60% of all like of the track. It just sounds good. And then if we listen to it is so simple, right? Let me play you the main melody here just a little bit, and I'm gonna finish my point. So all you really need to have is gonna be kick, bass, groove, vocal, if you decide to go with the vocal, and one main motif, one main melody. And you're gonna see that with this track. Right? It is so simple. And the same goes for the drum. It's just like kick, bass, drums, and that's it. And then he has vocals. We're going to analyze the instruments. I mapped it out on the project. So again, really important mindset, and really important. It's really important to understand, like, what do you actually need for a good track. Okay, so now let's go through the full track structure. So if you look at this, you can see that it's actually pretty simple, right? So I wanted to illustrate this visually just so like it's easier for you to imagine it, right? So every single section goes like 16 bars, and this is I copied like exactly the structure from the track. And one more point that I want to add here: in 2024, tracks are getting shorter. This structure is around 5.5 minutes, which is a perfect length for the club track now, right? So as usual, we start with the intro, then we do like a simple drop, then we do the break, then another simple drop, main drop, break, and then you just repeat the same structure, right? So let's go here, and I will refer back to this slide, and we're gonna really quickly go through this, right? So here we have the intro. It goes 16 bars, right? And this is the extended mix, so you can just copy the arrangement. Then you have like 30 seconds approximately, depending on the BPM, but let's say 16 bars off the drop, right? Because you want to give the listener the feeling of the track. And that's always like around 1 minute, like 1 minute to prepare the listener for like what is coming, right? Minimal drop, 16 bars, right? So this is technically intro plus the simple drop, a little bit simplified. Again, you can go with a full drop, just see what works for your track. Then we have the break build, which is also 16 bars, right? Super simple. And then we have the main drop. So main drop, it's like, could be simplified. You could go with the full drop. Again, see what works for your track, right? Another 16 bars and 16 bars, right? So it's going to be simple drop. And then from here, once you're finished with this section, the next 16 bar section, it features and it adds a couple of extra elements, which we're going to talk about. Here, I'm just talking about the structure, right? So here, it's like technically the same drop, but with some additional like sax, stabs, some like one shots and so on. And then we transition to the main melody, right? You see the structure, like the logic behind the structure. All we are really doing here is he wants to tell a story, and you do not want to give everything like right away, like at once, right? So he doesn't give you the main melody. The main melody comes here, but he kind of teases that. a little bit earlier. We'll talk about that, right? And then the same thing, right? Simple drop plus the main drop. Then again, the break. 16 bars. And then it goes with a simple drop. Like this time, it doesn't have a clap, for example.
Now hit the switch, let's go.
So it's like a simplified drop. Then from here, we add a couple more claps.
My face, I'm in this bitch. Been
Not a couple more, but the actual claps. I
my
mean.
face, I'm in this bitch. Been up 2 days, now hit the switch, let's go. Gotta get the bag while I got the wrist. No phone, don't call, yeah, I'm off the grid. Little.
And then again, right, we follow the same structure. One really important point that I want to tell you, which is important to understand, usually club tracks, at the end of the track, they have a longer drop, right? It's like the climax, the main motif, melody, call it how you want, right? And then we go to the outro, right? So you can see here, the drop is longer here, right? So like 16 bars, 16 bars, 16 bars, and then it's gonna be like the outro, right? So again, this is more like a reference point for you to get some inspiration for your arrangements. Now, let's talk about the club banger formula. So here's another track which I'm gonna play just in a second, but I want to give you like an even simpler approach, right? So for example, the track I think is also around like 5 minutes. So we could do the intro plus like a super simple drop, which is about 16 bars. Then we do the break, which is like 16 bars. Then we do the main drop, which could be like, I think 16 bars or maybe like a little bit more. Another break, and then long drop. This is like the climax of the track. So once I go back to the arrangement here, let's really quickly analyze another track. This is Dom Dollar Girls, which is a really cool track. Right, so again, this is the intro. Some tracks start like right away, but there's no lead sound. But he's already like setting the tone for the track. Again, we are not really discussing the specifics of this. It's more like the mindset thing. So you have like the bigger understanding of the arrangement because your tracks could be different, right? But then again, it is like roughly 16 bars because the track is faster. And then from here, it's just like the main drop. Or the bass. Yeah, and you can hear it is a simplified drop. Then he has a build. We're not going to analyze the build like too much. But basically, pay attention to how he introduces the elements here. This is where the main theme kicks in, right? So it is okay to tease the main theme like a little bit before, but not too early, right? Have some curiosity, so have some story behind the track. And then the main drop kicks in. And sometimes the tracks are so simple, you don't even need like a lot of variation. The whole variation comes from vocals. So one piece of advice that I can give you is work more with vocals. Like really, it is such an important thing, I would say, for tech house tracks, because like all successful tracks usually have vocals, and with vocals you can have a super simple instrumental, and then all the variation is gonna come from the vocal here, right? So the structure is like super simple. Intro plus simple drop, build, a little bit shorter drop, another build, and the climax, right? This is like so simple. Like guys, copy this arrangement, and then the outro, right? Okay, so I think that's enough for the structure, and now we're gonna go through some of the elements, like the way that they introduce elements, the way that this all works, right? So just like now, By looking at the picture, you can really see that it's so simple. It's all about simplicity. I made a little sketch of all the elements in the track, so you can realize how simple it really is. Once you have a solid foundation, groove, kick, bass, and melodic elements, and vocal as well, everything else is easy. So now we're gonna go through the track. I'm not gonna like play you the full one, otherwise the video is gonna be a little bit too long. But let's go through the most important parts of the track, right? Let's see here how he transitions from the intro to the minimal drop. So he introduces one of the main sounds, the saxophone. Let's play here. So he teased that really strategically. He didn't put the full loop, he just introduced a part of the main melody. Also pay attention to those little transitions, filters, and so on. But the beat here is really simple. It's just like kick, bass, drums, and that's it. Not a lot of elements. I also mapped little vocal effects, right? So from here, he introduces the simpler melody. It is still not like the main motif. Like, it goes like tick, 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 like on the offbeat with the hi-hat. Like, you see how simple this is? 16 bars, just use a bit longer loops, have a nice groove, and like you're good to go. Okay, let's transition to the right. So here he uses some effects. We could also map this, like downshifter, fix, down, something like that. Put it blue, and that's gonna be it. And from here, and this is like a pretty common pattern that I noticed in tech house tracks, they would normally not have like a super complex melody in the drop, so they are using the full melody in the breakdown, and then they transition to a more minimal one. Right, and then he uses like still this simple saxophone melody. But again, pay attention to the simplicity. We have kick, bass, drums, one melodic sound, and that's it. So one of the problems that, like, I see with people, producers, like making music, my clients as well, is it is often hard to come up with this main motif, like the main melody. So really, really focus on that. This is probably like a live loop. Someone played it. It's not like the library or something. Yeah, and then pay attention to the looped melody, right? So here also, at the end of the section, you want to have some sort of transition. You can also pay attention how he uses it, right? So every like 16, sometimes 8 bars, he uses a little transition at the end, right? Okay, and now let's check the drop.
Switch, let's go.
And it's technically the same drop that he had here, right? Bro, it is not rocket science. It is actually pretty simple. But of course, you need to have those like basic skills and so on.
Hit the switch, let's go.
Super simple. But he creates a lot of interest, like makes the track interesting by introducing the vocal.
Can't feel my face, I'm in this bitch, been up 2 days.
Then we are adding percussion layers as well. It's really subtle, but you can hear that.
On my face, I'm in this bitch, been up 2 days, now hit the switch, let's go. Gotta get the bag while I got the wrist, no phone, don't call, yeah.
Right, so the vocal, although the instrumental is so simple, the vocal is what makes it so interesting, right? And again, this is another 16 bar section. And then we are transitioning to the next one, which features, again, like, it is the same, how many melodic elements, like 2, 3, maybe like 4, 5, right? And they are super simple. And then there's like another, it goes like tick, 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 and then another, so this is like the second one, sax, melody, addition, something like that we could say, right? Yeah, and also pay attention to how he added the rights. Like a super subtle thing, but those are the nuances that I need to consider, and it's impossible to really like tell you guys everything in one video. Right? You see how simple it is, and the way that he introduces everything is like. And then also pay attention to this. It is the same melody, but just because he changed the sound, it sounds different. Right? You see how simple that is, right? And here we have a filtered kick. So this is another breakdown. This is technically like a breakdown and a build. And again, he doesn't use any like complicated techniques, sound design. All he did, he filtered the kick and the bass, the drums, maybe like a little bit, introduced a couple more elements, and that's it. Yeah, he also has like a riser, so we could do like this, noise up, something like this. Okay. Can't feel my face, I'm in this bitch. Been up 2 days, now I hit the switch, let's go. Pay attention to the simple drop, and this is something that I used myself a lot, right? So after the break, quite often, actually like most of the times, you want to drop the energy a little bit and then make it, more energetic with the next steps, like more sound. Hit the switch, let's go. So again, let's go back and take a look at the structure. So we had intro plus simple drop, break, simple drop plus the main theme, right? Another break. The first part of the drop is simple drop and then the main drop, right? So with the vocal, from here we are adding the claps, and this is actually like 8 bars, so technically it's like this section. This bitch been up 2 days, now I hit the switch, let's go. Gotta get the bag while I got the wrist, no. The vocal creates so much. Gotta get the bag while I got the wrist, no phone, don't call, yeah, I'm off the grid, lay low. Now we are adding percussion layers, rides, and so on. And also, guys, like, take a look at the structure. He's not introducing anything new. So technically, the whole track is like, it's this. And quite often, like, you tend to overthink that you need some crazy change. You need something like, I don't know, extraordinary. But like in reality, you just create like a cool groove, cool vibe. And then the rest is like, yeah. Actually, no, he adds a little bit here, but it's just a variation to the main melody. And then he transitions back to the first drop, like the main drop, right? You see that after the second break, the drop, unlike we don't have any more breaks. The drop is like really, really long. So this is also something to keep in mind. In the beginning, again, we could take this track as an example. Beginning, break, a little bit shorter drop, another build, and then the climax, right? Super, super simple. Bigger blocks, and just copy this show, like the club banger formula. Like all the tracks, all the popular trending tracks, I noticed they have pretty much the same pattern. Maybe just like a little bit different, right? And then we have the outro, end, and outro is really late. Just like going down in terms of the energy. Okay, I think that's enough. Like, I don't really need to go too deep into this. It's, I think, pretty simple. And the last thing that I want to talk about, which is also really important, is going to be the energy flow in the track, right? So look at this diagram. I mapped out the energy flow, like approximately, for my ears in the track. You can see that there's always a change. It's about contrast. You go up and then down. Energy should change. I like the roller coaster analogy. How to achieve energy change? By adding or taking away the elements plus automation. We're not going to talk too much about the automation. But let's just like go through the track really quickly one more time, summarize everything, and then you will have a really good understanding of the club arrangement formula, right? So let's have a listen. This is the energy, right? In the intro, it's pretty low. And then we are going up and try to follow the mapped out energy, right? So think why I did it like this. Right, so here we have the drop. Energy goes up a little bit, and from this section we are starting to introduce a couple more elements, and then we go up. Right, even though that this is a break, the energy still goes up because we have that new main melody. And like you have to go up kinda in the build-up because you want to create some tension, some contrast. So here we go up, right? And also like this main theme, it allows to increase the energy a little bit. Right, and then we go up, the riser, the effects.
Feel my face, I'm in this bitch. Been up 2 days, now I hit the switch, let's go.
Yeah, and then compared to the build-up and the break, the energy like is a little bit more like, it's a bit more relaxed. Like we go kind of down. So we increase the energy, we created the tension, and then you bounce back to this. Right, and then there's goes and goes. And then we are slowly transitioning to a bit more like energetic parts, right? And the energy goes up here because we have two melodies, right? So pay attention. This is like a little bit more down, and here we go up. Right, and here energy doesn't drop, although we are filtering the kick and the bass, and it's actually, I totally forgot about the real phones. I'm gonna listen in the club, just to give you like a little bit better understanding why it looks so, right? So we can do like this, and listen, like really. Oh, wait, this is too loud. So the energy is kind of like the same here. I could say it goes a little bit more like, maybe like this, right? Still, because in the club it's a bit different feeling. And then again, like the same
push, let's go.
And then here we kind of go down, right? Again, this is like approximately. It doesn't have to be like 100% illustrate the energy. It's more like the thinking process, what I'm trying to say here. And then we go up.
Can't feel my face, I'm in this bitch, been up 2 days.
Because we have the vocal, additional percussions, we go up.
Now rendezvous.
Here, because we have more elements, we also go up.
You wanna do?
And here's like the climax, sort of.
Now rendezvous.
And then we bounce back, and then the track goes down, right? So again, I hope it gives you a better understanding of the energy flow, how we can use different elements. Most important thing, what I want you to take from this video is simplicity and having a solid foundation in your tracks. So that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. Hope it was valuable. And again, if you need some help, just go to the comments, fill in the application, and let's work together. And yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.